Okay guys, let's talk about Terminator Genisys. Now I thought of reviewing all the other Terminator films, like the previous ones before this one, but I thought I should talk about this one while it's fresh in my mind. It would take a while to review all of them. Plus this film is kind of a reboot of the Terminator franchise, so I feel it's alright to talk about it. So, overall, this is not a good film. It's pretty bad. Like, Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese is not as interesting, which makes me so sad, because Kyle Reese is by far my favorite part of the Terminator franchise. Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor, she's fine. I mean, again, she's no Linda Hamilton, but for what she was asked to do, she's fine. I mean, all the characters are kind of bland, with the exception of two, and that is Arnold, who's surprisingly amazing. Like, usually I would like Arnold in a sort of ironic way. Like, he just has so much charisma, even though he's not the best actor. Arnold is legit good in this film, and J.K. Simmons is also very good in this film. In fact, there was like nobody in the theater, so when I was seeing it with my friend, we were able to joke around, and we both agreed there should be a movie with just them two. Like, the next Terminator film should just be Arnold and J.K. Simmons, because they are so enjoyable in this movie, and they just provide so many laughs. So when it's not focusing on them, it's just kind of the bland, boring, generic action film. That's the one thing, is a lot of times they'll rely on the overused action catchphrases, and they're so groan-worthy and just annoying, and just everything about Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese is just not that good. It's just generic, boring, and it just makes you think of the first movie, which did it so much better. And that's one of the things I did like, is that this movie is very much playing tribute to the first movie rather than the second movie, which you'd think they'd play tribute to the second movie because that's one generally considered the best. But no, they more went to the start of this franchise with Terminator 1, which is my personal favorite of the Terminators. But it's more of a reboot, sort of retelling of the first Terminator, and it's just not as good. Again, the cast is boring, the story is boring. The time travel in this movie makes absolutely no sense. I mean, you sort of roll with it. You sort of learn, like, you know what, whatever. The time travel doesn't make any sense. Just go with what he's saying. In fact, they make a few jokes, like, they use a bunch of science terms that no one understands, and they make jokes about that. But in the original Terminators, I could understand the time travel okay. In other, let's say Back to the Future, I understand time travel okay. In Doctor Who, I understand time travel okay. Hell, in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, I understand time travel okay, and it makes sense to me. This movie, it's time travel, it works completely different than time travel in the other films in many ways. And they don't really explain it, you're just supposed to go with whatever they're saying. And another thing, the action in this film is nowhere near as good. There's not that much spectacle to it. It's just explosions. There's no stunt work, and I'm not saying there should be less CGI, because I feel CGI has its place, and there's nothing wrong with CGI, but it was filmed close. Like, this action was filmed close. It wasn't necessarily shaky cam, but there wasn't any big, grand action things that blew me away. There was nothing in it. Again, it was more just big special effects and big explosions. Jason Clarke is John Connor in this film, and again, he's fine. What he does. I'm not gonna necessarily spoil what happens with John Connor, even though if you've seen the trailer, you probably already know. And again, he does his job fine. Like, that's my main issue, with the exception of Arnold, J.K. Simmons, and Matt Smith is also very good in the film. Everybody really does fine, and they're playing such iconic characters that have been done so much better in the past that it really is upsetting to see them now be portrayed by these actors who are just not doing as good a job. One idea that the movie did touch on was the fact that Kyle Reese is supposed to die. Because if you've seen the first Terminator, Kyle Reese dies. And they deal with, well, what if in this timeline he doesn't die? Like, what if like just this one time is different? And that was an interesting sort of idea for the film, that I guess the fact that now everything's different and now you get to choose your own fate and it's not all predetermined like the other Terminators said time travel was. And again, that's an interesting idea, but I wish they would have played it up more. As it is, it's fine, but again, that's just something added in there. It's like in the Avengers movie, they have like a teamwork message, but that's more in there just to have a message. The whole fate message is more in there just because Terminator needs a message, and it's more about the action. But Avengers, their action was great, and they kept on coming up with creative ideas. This one doesn't. It's just generic action. So overall, I think I would have been bored with the film, except the thing is, as I said, I saw this movie with my friend, and since there was no one else in the theater, we felt comfortable just to kind of talk, and we were kind of cracking each other up with the film, because there is a bunch of stupid moments and silly moments. So I had a fun time in the theater, but I recognize it's not that good a film. So I really don't suggest anybody see this movie.